I have a stat here actually. Alphabet, so Google's parent company, reported profits for Q2 last year up to 19%. So that's approximately 2.1 billion, driven by AI advancements across the services. So you can see that there's a want to hold back some of that traffic for themselves because they're obviously gaining massive profits from it.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to another ProfileTree podcast. So, this week we're obviously looking ahead to 2026, and one of the major players, I suppose, in digital marketing as a whole is definitely analyzing the AI overviews impact. So obviously they were first launched by Google in May 2024 just in the US alone. Google positions them as a way to answer faster while still connecting people to the web. Definitely trying to put a positive spin on it, as we can see, because there have definitely been some opposing thoughts on them and the impact that it's having on global website traffic, brands, businesses, everything. Obviously, the initial launch wasn't without its issues, including AI overviews, which were mistakenly advising users on which wild mushrooms are safe to eat, highlighting some that definitely weren't, as well as suggesting the use of glue to help cheese stick to pizza. Unsure about that one. Obviously, then the AI overviews were launched worldwide last October, and they've definitely already had a major impact on global traffic. I mean, even just to kick us off, what are both of you thinking in terms of the impact of AI overviews so far? What are your thoughts, pros, cons, in terms of what it's done for search engines?
I think AI overviews are definitely taking the lead with internet traffic. I mean, the reason I suppose is because Google generates profit from the AI overviews by integrating ads within or alongside the generated content, by increasing overall user engagement and the number of searches performed on the overviews. I have a stat here actually. Alphabet, so Google's parent company, reported record reviews with profits for Q2 last year up to 19%. So that's approximately 2.1 billion, driven by AI advancements across the services. And then in Q2 and 3, reaching 56.6 billion. That was actually in Q3 of 25. So you can see that there's a want there to hold back some of that traffic for themselves because they're obviously gaining massive profits from it. I guess the flip side of that is then how do all these websites and businesses compete with that? What are your thoughts on it, Laura?
I think I kind of have two stances on it. So from a personal perspective, outside of work, I love it. I think it's a great time saver. It's very succinct in terms of the information that it provides. So at the start, as you say, there was some teething problems that it wasn't directly having the specific results for you, but I think it is very tailored now, which is great. From a business perspective, I think, as you say, Chris, it is hurting clients' website traffic. So particularly I find with smaller clients as well, that maybe don't have the brand visibility on Google to begin with. They are having the erosion of a brand recall, so they're not being taken up in the AI overviews. A lot of clients struggle to even understand how that will be put into play. How do they actually come up in the overviews? And we are seeing the rise of the zero-click trust. So typically, even if you read the AI overview, most people will not recall what source it was even given from, and they'll just recall the actual information. So I think it is a time coming into 2026. It's definitely something that clients are prioritizing more within my strategy goals, but it is new territory for everybody. So I definitely think there's pros and cons to it at the minute.
Yeah, I think that's 100%. It's so interesting to look at it from the perspective of, us as just an everyday person and looking at it from the perspective of businesses, because I have gotten so lazy now where if I have a question, if I don't go to ChatGPT, I go to Google and I will just see it, read it one time and go, yep, okay, that's my answer.
Yeah.
And, that's 100% relying on technology being right. And there's a lot of occasions where it's not. But I suppose that's where the issue is, don't ever use tools like Google AI or ChatGPT for medical advice and indeed, can I eat this wild mushroom? I just don't think it's worth the risk. But it's interesting. I was looking at some statistics, kind of looking at what the data says since AI overviews were introduced. So if we look at specifically between March 24 and March 25, I'm assuming this is just in the US as it wasn't launched here yet. When an AI overview is present in a search query, the top organic result gets around 34.5% fewer clicks, with the average click-through rate dropping from 7.3% in March 24 to 2.6 in March 2025. So therein lies the truth. The data doesn't lie. It's definitely had a huge impact on website traffic. And I can see then why brands and businesses might be panicking a little and seeing that drastic drop for them. And obviously, even just on paper, you would see it as a negative impact on brands. Google's sort of counter argument to this is that AI overviews can help create new discovery journeys. I don't know why to quote Marx. I just think it's an interesting spin. And yeah, definitely. And also more opportunities for publishers and businesses by spreading attention across multiple cited sources instead of simply having one brand competing for that top spot, which I suppose is an interesting way to look at it, because the AI overview is exactly that. It's a combination of citations and sources, provided that they're actually there. So it kind of does even the playing field, at least amongst those top ranking players. What do you think about how they're positioning it? Do you think that's fair?
What I find with a lot of clients that have PPC, so pay per click advertising, they're very frustrated at the minute. So you can imagine some of the bigger brands are investing a lot of money into the likes of Google ads. They're much more expensive than Meta ads and LinkedIn ads and so on. And now the AI overview most of the time will be above that. So I think there's a frustration with bigger companies that have invested a lot of time and energy, maybe over a decade, trying to get up even the sponsored ads for those bigger keywords. So that's definitely something I've seen across clients. Again, I think with smaller clients, even if we do encourage them to have really specific queries or question-based keywords within their blogs, there simply just isn't the knowledge basis with a lot of our clients at the minute of how to actually get into the overview. So I think there is a level of frustration there at the minute as well, that although Google is positioning it in a positive way, a lot of businesses don't actually know how to move forward with it at the minute, which is obviously where we come in to help.
Yeah, and I suppose there's almost that attitude of, ugh, another thing that I do is that I need to track, which is completely fair enough. But again, it just reinforces the fact that you can't just rely on any one um marketing channel. Previously where brands might have been relying on SEO, they can't do that anymore. From the research I've done, obviously, is that the main place the AI overviews are being used is for informational queries. So obviously then it works best when it just has a simple or straightforward question that it can answer. And if it can answer it in, 3 or 4 lines, then it's going to answer it in 3 or 4 lines. And what it means for brands as well is that the previous measurement of SEO success was, fairly straightforward in the sense that it was rankings. Where are you? Are you in that top first page of search rankings or not? So obviously, like you've already mentioned then, Laura, this is going to shift to visibility, including citations. What do you think that's going to practically look like for businesses and brands? Or, what are we already starting to explain to people to do?
So I have actually pulled up the list that I would typically recommend for my clients. One thing I would recommend is making sure that you have depth within your keywords. So for anybody that doesn't know what a keyword is, essentially it's a phrase related to your products or services that you would like to show up for on Google. So a lot of clients panic and think, well, if I want to show up for X amount of AI overview questions, I have to create maybe thousands of blogs on lots of different topics. I would say focus on your niche to begin with. So pick maybe 3 very niche topics that you know a lot about that's related to your products or services, and start with them and then gradually build it out. Because if you can get into a niche AI overview, which is obviously a lot easier to achieve, then you can build the trust and the domain authority, which is the credibility of the site, into Google's maybe broader terms. So I would say focus on your niche to begin with. What that means practically would be structuring content with clear headings related to the keywords that you want to show up for in the AI overview, making sure that you're demonstrating expertise, so through named authors' credentials and first-hand experience. So with the rise of AI content, say that you can write a blog that's 1,000 words in 10 seconds or 5 seconds nowadays, you need to integrate your own first-hand experience or your unique selling point of the business within the blogs, and then ensure clean technical structure as well. So things like headings, internal links, and schema, making sure that it's technically clean as well. If it's got technical issues, that will red flag to Google and it won't show it in the AI overview. So both the SEO and the technical perspective has to be taken into consideration.
It sounds like definitely a little bit more upskilling involved for either business owners, marketing managers, marketing team members. I can understand the frustration in that you sort of just finally maybe get to grips with something like that SEO and then Google moves the goalposts, as it were. But like we were saying, obviously multi-channel marketing, it's something like I guess that we consistently preach with clients. There's so many other opportunities given the switch to AI overviews, email marketing, looking at brand partnerships or podcasts, even as we ourselves have moved into optimizing for social search, PR, again, backlinks. It's so important in making sure that you get your brand name out there, and thought leadership using things like, I suppose, LinkedIn articles. And I suppose one thing that made me think of as well is it's again continued to be more important than ever to actually segment your content. A lot of people might just be putting the same content online everywhere, forgetting about search intent, forgetting about what the purpose of that content is. Is it using your Instagram for brand awareness? Is it using your LinkedIn for thought leadership? Is it directing sales inquiries for your website? Like that seems to be more important than ever, definitely.
I agree. One thing I think that maybe hasn't been mentioned yet is to focus on video first, because video ultimately will be the last form of content to fall in this scenario. If, SEO is becoming less used, and because of AI, then, you know, a good way to judge this really is when you go on to the Google search and you type in best video production agency in Belfast. Along the top, you'll have AI overview, which means that that is like the first in order that Google is going to push you towards. It's going to, you can force the AI overview. And then you'll have, like, if I just look at it now, um, following that, you'll have something like all, which will give you the list of websites. Then you have images, videos, short videos, news, shopping, and that's kind of like the way you want to judge it. So video is a huge part of marketing, and it's becoming the most durable marketing format at the moment. Creating videos that explain what you do, how you do it, and answer common questions. It's nearly a staple now for every business. And obviously publishing on YouTube first, since Google pulls heavily from that, especially with the AI overviews, it's going to start using its own sources as well. So you were saying there about what should businesses do to compete with this? Focus on video first, then refresh existing content regularly using AI tools to maybe freshen up your content. AI searches for new content in real time, and it doesn't store data the way traditionally websites would, etc. So like updating older blogs, service pages, FAQs, and so on. And even if you're changing the content, it's exactly the same answer, but you're just changing it so it's been updated recently. That's kind of what you're looking to do. So the answers might not change, but the content does. Get listed everywhere AI looks for, and how you can test that is in the AI overview along the right hand side, you will get a list of the sources. So you basically want to scroll through there. I mean, organic takes longer. If you just pay to be there, it's going to be quicker. So maybe paid advertising, not spending, thousands, but maybe for a backlink or a press release, you're talking a couple £100. It's definitely going to push you up in that AI overview. And then also like strengthening Google Maps and reviews. Back to what Laura was saying there earlier, Google's going to use its own profiles, the Google Maps profile, Google My Business profile, just making sure all your content is updated and fresh on there. And I think that's how businesses will compete, by being there.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, even when you were talking about video, Chris, and I think this example is in my head because I recently bought a house and I'm constantly Googling things like how to fix this, how to do this. Even if it's, for example, like, oh, how to fix the leaking tap in my kitchen. If you think about that for, you're a plumber based in Belfast, like that's a huge opportunity for you to try and appear in the AI overview, or even that clip from a YouTube video, for example, showing you how to actually fix that pipe, and educational, informational content. Like it's a huge opportunity for brands that potentially they're not even considering because they're thinking, oh, how could I do that? But it's simple, you get called out to a job, you get someone to record it and you put it up on YouTube, and that's going to be a really good, helpful source for people. And again, that's the thing, isn't it? Google's constantly talking about helpful content for users. Is your content actually helpful? Is it going to give people the answer, and is it credible? Making sure that you are an actual trusted source, and like you mentioned, Laura, it's not as simple as making sure that your content is SEO optimized. It's like, is there a credible author there? Have they written other things on their website? Is the date up to date as of when the actual content was last updated? Like, all these things are so important.
It's funny you mentioned just that about the video side of it. I read something recently. It was saying to treat social media platforms as discovery sources, really. So like, use your social videos as searchable assets rather than disposable posts. So, you're not just putting it there to post on social media and hopefully get loads of views. Put it there with the thought of AI engines will use this to pull data from. So it's not just acting as a marketing post anymore or a marketing video for your brand. It's also a discovery asset for AI engines.
It's actually really true, because even when I think about, over the past few months, every time I might search a business on Google, it didn't used to be, a Facebook post from 6 months ago, but now it is. And it is, I guess it's that Google's have put in more trust in user generated content. So whatever's there online is definitely going to show up. Whereas before it would have been, the HMRC website or, typically like reputable sources. So there's definitely been a huge shift in that. What do we think is going to happen this year? Are there going to be changes to the AI overview? Any predictions? Any thoughts about where Google could go next?
What do you think, Laura?
In terms of predictions, it's very hard to predict what Google will do next. We are constantly upskilling. It's one of those things that, in terms of algorithms, we can predict what's coming down the line with the likes of social media algorithms. With Google, God only knows, to be honest. I would say it will be probably trying to make sure that smaller brands are being noticed, because I think if only the major players are investing in the AI SEO, Google's not going to benefit from that. It needs all types of businesses to be on board. So I think we will see that in terms of the weaker players at the minute will have more of an opportunity to be shown. But yes, unsure what 2026 will hold.
Yeah, it's difficult to know, definitely. Like you said, we don't know where AI is going to go as a whole, never mind what Google's going to do with theirs. But I suppose one of the most important things is that people continue to use multi-channel marketing, practice assiduity whenever it comes to their marketing tools and the content that they're putting online. And yeah, just continue to upskill and figure out what it is that you don't know, I guess. Come to PT. We love to teach and educate.
Well, I mean, that would be my takeaway if I was watching this podcast. It's, AI overviews will shift rapidly, but my thoughts are, instead of predicting the future, just trying to stay with the times that you're in right now. Like, as a business, fresh mentions, ongoing updates, continuously publishing new content, and trying to stay visible. That's what you're looking to do, and delve into AI overviews.
Mhm. Absolutely. Well, thank you guys very much. I suppose AI overviews and watch this space. Difficult to know, but I'm sure we'll be talking about it over the next few months and 2026 as a whole. So thank you both. Hope you enjoyed the episode, and we'll see each other soon.